happens to be here this evening, so I'm going to, unless, Mr. Boyle, you want to say anything first? I'm going to ask Mr. Marsden to respond to some of these.
Well, I can answer the question, some of the question, but I'll let Jeff do most of the work, but while he's here, we'll put him to work. But relative to the resolution is going to authorize mayor and clerk to execute a new permit. Right now, we're working on one set of permits that will keep us able to do river work until 2016. We're now looking to revise that permit, actually add that permit, to allow for additional work that's going to be done under this new $250,000 you're getting from the DEP. And this permit was put together with Jeff, along with the engineers from Riverdale and Quantic. So that's that. Right now, any work we are doing is under the current permit, and this will allow for other work down the road. And to address the work that's being done, I'll probably Jeff and let go forward.
Can you step to the microphone for us so folks at home can hear your response? If you could talk into the microphone, please. Just identify yourself, please, Jeff.
Jeff Marsden. I work with H2M Associates, and we are the borough engineer for Pompton Lakes.
We just need you to step closer because I don't think it's carrying.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Jeff Marsden, borough engineer with H2M Associates, an engineering firm. Mr. Boyle indicated that the current work we're doing falls under the existing permit, and we have until 2016 to work within the limits between Hamburg Turnpike and Jackson Avenue. This permit was issued to 4 communities: Wayne, Riverdale, Pequannock, and Pompton Lakes. The problem became when we were told we can get more money to continue our work, was the DEP recommended highly that each town individually get their own stream, river, desnagging, and maintenance permit, which can last another 5 years. And I thought that was a very good idea. I talked to a number of people, and what we did was we prepared the permits. We're in the process of getting them ready to send in, and in order to send them in, we need your signature on the application, and that is why it's in front of the council now to get the permission to sign and submit this application. As far as the current work, we are working at Hirschfield Park. This work was done within the existing conditions of the permit we have. Initially, when the material was being taken out, I noticed some things that I didn't like, and I immediately contacted Ed and the contractor to make sure they stayed within the permit limits. Mr. Meekum indicated that he was concerned about the material being removed was being used to fill. That wasn't the intent. The problem that the contractor encountered was the type of material is very soft, it's very mucky, and it was very difficult to remove without having it all over the place. So to the best of his ability, he built a big stockpile. And in the process of removing the stockpile, which is now being temporarily stored in Willow at the stone parking lot at the very end, he will be removing that from the site within 1 week of today, where he finished his stockpile. However, I went out there today to make sure that there was no material spread out, because that was the concern some residents had. And there was a complaint to DEP and also to EPA. And they contacted me, and I basically told them I went out, I looked at it, and yes, in some areas there was some additional material that was removed from the lake or the river. Most of it was down to the original ground cover when you got to the plantings, maybe 20, 30 feet off the shore. But as the contractor attempted to fill the ruts and stuff that were created by his operation, he backbladed it, and he also left some material in the vicinity. I went out there today and dug holes 4 to 6 inches deep, where the lake dredge material, or whatever the removed material, still is there on top of the existing ground. I instructed him today to backblade everything, use the loader, scrape it down to the existing ground material, the lighter brown tan sand. He assured me that would be done by the end of the week, and we will go back out and verify that he has removed all of the material that has been spread on top of the existing ground. As a part of my permit for Hirschfield Park originally, we were very limited to regrading. We actually lowered that area so that DEP would be assured that we weren't placing any fill within the floodway or the floodplain. And that was my concern for this, and that's why he was instructed to remove all the material. As far as the contamination, this falls under the permit that, the existing permit was actually the applicant, as everybody I'm sure knows, was DEP. DEP was the applicant, and the four towns were the co-applicants. DEP brought the subject didn't bring the subject up. We brought the subject up, contamination of the materials, and they indicated there was no evidence at all that the materials contaminated with any, mercury, lead, whatever else the DuPont site is involved in. And therefore, they didn't require us to test it. If the board wants it, the council would like us to test it, we have the facilities, we have the testing lab, we have environmental scientists to sample and test the material.
But nothing's staying on site? Anything being removed is not staying on the beach area?
No, you'll have some residual dark material that was removed as we scrape it out, but there will be no fill left. It will be scraped down to the existing ground levels.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions, or?
I just got a question. Two questions, actually. What you just said about the DEP is pretty important, about that they were the person who put the permit together and spoke about the if there was any issue with the soil. Do we have that in writing from them somewhere?
I believe I may have an email.
All right, because
that was like 2 years ago when we started this whole thing.
And then where did the EPA fall out on this whole thing? What did they say?
The EPA just indicated that there was a complaint made with them, and they sent it to DEP. And the DEP enforcement officer, Kim Fialkowitz, I spoke to her at least 3 times over the last 2 days to assure her that I'm on top of it, I'll go through it, and then she'll come out and look at it. So, as far as the material goes. There's something else that's hit my head and I lost it. For the council and for the public,